Hi guys, just making this quick video about the best PlayStation 5 settings and controller settings for where wins mate. Now this guide will be useful for anyone with a PlayStation 5 but also anyone on PC who's rocking a controller. There's two parts to this guide. The first is the actual controller settings and then the other is the actual PlayStation 5 settings. First I'll start off with the controller settings tab with dynamic aiming. Now if you're wondering why your aim is shaking and wobbling when aiming with a bow and arrow, it's because your controller's gyroscope motion sensor is being used to aim, as you can see by my hand actions. I highly suggest turning this off as it just makes the archery challenges just so much more harder than it should be. Next up is the adaptive triggers. Some games do adaptive triggers really well, but again in this game it's more of a nuisance. Especially when you're trying to aim on the PlayStation 5 using the L2 and R2 buttons, it just adds unnecessary resistance. So I suggest turning them off. Now moving on to the camera settings, starting with camera zoom. This one is a big personal preference option which you can select from either default, far or wide. I'm playing on a big ass TV and I love the wide option. I can see so much more on my screen with this option and it just makes the combat and exploration so much more better for me. And honestly I feel like I'm immersing into the world so much better with this. But if you're playing on a smaller screen like a small monitor, then I'd suggest either the default or far option. And if you've got a widescreen monitor, then definitely go with wide and you'll see a huge difference. Again, this is preference. Some people love close-up cameras and some people like something far and wide. The choice is yours for this one. And just underneath it, I suggest having camera direction correction enabled. It just feels more natural when your camera is centering back at your character when moving around. Now moving on to the display settings. The default setting I believe on all platforms is 16 notes of music, but I prefer personally the bright option. I'm playing on a Samsung TV which is awesome for gaming, and I found the bright setting to be amazing on this TV as it's just so vibrant. I personally felt the 16 notes of music was a bit too dark in some areas, and the bright setting just makes the game pop out and feel more alive. Now because you're looking at a recording of my game on your screen, you may not see what I'm physically seeing with my eyes. So test and try both options to see which one suits you better. The other options in between are very gimmicky and I don't recommend them, such as intense, vivid, warm and cool. Some people may find them nice, but I personally think you'll either need to choose the 16 notes of music or bright option. Play around with both of these and please do let me know which model of TV or monitor you're using, because on my Samsung TV, definitely the bright option was by far the best. Next up is the ray tracing option. I notice I drop a few frames when I have the ray tracing option on, and personally having it off just feels just as nice. So overall I prefer to have it off just to make my game perform better, as I personally like to prioritize frame rates over ray tracing, and it made my decisions so much easier for this. Now moving on to the audio tab. The PlayStation 5 controller comes with a speaker on it, and look guys, it's a cool gimmick, but in this game it's a bloody headache. Anytime you parry, the sound of the parry just blasts through your controller speaker and it just becomes a nuisance. And if you've ever joined the Mirage Boat event with 100 different players on the PlayStation 5 controller, all their voices come out of this tiny little speaker and it just sounds like a World War II walkie-talkie. So yeah, turn this shit off mate. And last but not least is the other tab, which I want to talk about the cross-platform settings. This is entirely up to preference. If you don't want to play with other platforms, then just switch this one off. Otherwise keep it on if you've got friends on other platforms. And that's pretty much it guys. Hope this video helped you out in finding some options and settings you may have not known about. These are my personal favorite settings in Where Wins Meet, and there is no right and wrong guys. So feel free to test, mix and match whatever settings you want for your current setup. And please do subscribe and check out my channel for more Where Wins Meet content, and hope to catch you in my next video. Cheers guys.